Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to our very bookish channel. In today's video, we plan on discussing the books that we are going to try very hard to read in the month of February.
Hi guys, I feel like I'm on day 80 of January because it's been dragging on and on and on, but I'm here to talk about finally the February TBR. Me and Amanda have some plans and I have a pile of books here next to me, and I'm not going to be reading this whole pile. I'm not that ambitious. Half of this pile is something I will be going over that Amanda and I had planned for February. It was her idea, so I'll be going over that in a minute. I tried to incorporate some, since Valentine's Day is in February, some love into my TBR, but it's not exactly romance. So let's kick it off and I'll show you my pile before I get into some of the plans that we have. First, I am going to be reading, this is a love story. I went over this in Most Anticipated for January and February. It was an ARC that I got, and I was really hoping to read this and do an ARC review, but it is coming out next week. I just didn't get the time. Onyx Storm work's been crazy, but Onyx Storm has slowed me down a little bit in reading. I haven't had much time to read either, to be honest. So I am not getting to everything I wanted to in January. I do feel like I had a pretty successful January though, because I'm going to be getting to 6 books, I think it is. It might be 7. And kicking off 2025, that feels like a nice little chunk right at the onset. This one is about a couple, and you see it through the perspective of everything they go through throughout their lives and everything, all the obstacles that they overcome, but they also incorporate Central Park as kind of a character too, because they go there with their kid. They go there for important conversations they're having, for things going on in their lives. And I am a fan of New York. I think it's going to make me want to go back and visit again, but I love fiction. This is obviously fiction and I'm looking forward to doing it. I think it's the perfect month since it is called This Is a Love Story. So I plan on reading that in February.
Okay, so y'all know that we love to read ARCs, advanced reader copies, on this channel and talk about the books and do vlogs and reviews on them. So I'm starting January off with 2 advanced reader copies that I've got. And the first one that I'm gonna read is Finlay Donovan Digs Her Own Grave. Y'all know, if you've been around for a minute, you know that I really enjoy the Finlay Donovan series. It's a humorous mystery. It's technically mystery, but it's just so funny. The situations that Finlay Donovan gets herself in and out of, and her nanny Vero is just hilarious, and the dynamic between the nanny and her ex-husband, it's a really fun mystery book. And the 5th book of the series, Finlay Donovan Digs Her Own Grave, is coming out on March 5th. So I obviously applied for an advanced reader copy. I got a copy. I'm gonna read it and do an ARC review for you all, but I just have a feeling if it's like all the other books in the series, I'm really gonna enjoy it.
The next one also feels like the perfect month because it's called Cross My Heart by Megan Collins. This is more of the thriller and maybe love gone wrong. It is about a woman who had received a heart transplant, and after a little while, she becomes obsessed of trying to find out who the woman was that she got the heart from. And she ends up seeing her husband, and she corresponds with that woman's husband, and she starts to suspect that he may have murdered that woman. So this one sounded interesting. I've been really wanting to read this one and I can't wait to read this. I was going to do an ARC review because I had an electronic ARC. Obviously I bought it because I do prefer the physical, and I'm not going to be doing an ARC review, but I do very much look forward to reading this in February.
The second ARC that I want to read in February is a book I am so excited about. I don't know much about this book, but it is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This book is coming out on May 13th, so we still have a couple of months before release date, but I am really excited to start reading this book. So I have read the Age of Madness trilogy by Joe Abercrombie and really liked the book. I love his twist, as you would call them. They're the twist in fantasy books are a little bit different than the twist in psychological thrillers. So I don't like calling them twist, but I don't know what else to call them. But I really liked the surprises in his books. But I did not know when I started reading the Age of Madness trilogy that was actually a trilogy within a bigger set of books. There's this whole first law world that Joe Abercrombie has built, and the first book of the Age of Madness trilogy is actually the 8th book in this world. So I really need to go back and start reading the first book in the first law world and move my way up and probably reread the Age of Madness trilogy, because it was a long time ago when I read those books, and I do remember a lot of the endings, but I don't remember a lot of the details, and I do remember really enjoying those books. Anyways, Joe Abercrombie is coming out with The Devils, and this is the first book of a brand new series he's coming out with, and that's really all I need to know. The grimdark fantasy, Joe Abercrombie coming out with a brand new series. Whoa. I can't wait to read this one.
Amanda and I have 2 ARC reviews that we plan on doing a vlog for. The first one we both got on the same day in the mail. We were very, very excited. We've been wanting to read this one, Parents Weekend by Alex Finley. And I believe we went over this in Most Anticipated for January, February, at least I believe I did. And we read last year, Alex Finley had one called If Something Happens to Me, and I did do an ARC review for that one. Amanda didn't read it, I think, at the same time as I did, but she ended up reading it. It was a really fast-paced thriller. I was riveted. I loved that one. She can link the ARC review for that one in this video. We are looking forward to doing this one. It's about a parents' weekend, obviously, but 5 kids go missing, and they come from very different backgrounds. They don't really seem like the normal group of friends. The thought is it somehow tied to the parents as to why they're missing, and some of the things that start to come out about the parents in terms of things that they've done. Is it possible they're missing because of their parents? So I am looking forward to reading this one with Amanda. Keep your eye out for the vlog and ARC review we're going to be doing for this one. And this one doesn't come out to May, but it'll be one that you can check out our video and put on your May TBR.
So the next 2 books I want to talk about are also ARCs, but Jen and I both got copies of them, and we're going to be vlogging them for y'all because we're both very excited to read them. The first book is Parents Weekend by Alex Finley. This comes out on May 6th, and Alex Finley is the author of If Something Happens to Me. Jen and I both read that book, loved that book. We thought that was very fun thriller book. So we are excited to see what else Alex Finley can come out with. And I mean, you all look at this cover. It's really pretty. I'm so excited to get a copy of this.
Another ARC review that we're going to be doing, we don't have the physical ARC, we have electronic ARC. So I'm going to put a picture on the screen by Lisa Jewell. It's called Don't Let Him In. We both have electronic ARCs. I went over this one in a video that we had done about all the books that we are very much anticipating in 2025. And I mentioned in that video, it's kind of hard to say the plot for this quickly. The best way for me to say the plot quickly is there's a man who ends up getting pushed in front of a train, and he leaves behind a mother and daughter. They get a package and find out more about him, but there are other women that end up being tied to him, and I don't know why. It didn't really explain it, and I'd rather go into it blind anyway. That's the best way I could say it quickly. I don't know if Amanda's gonna be able to say it better, but that was what I remember the plot being about, and I look forward to reading Lisa Jewell. I really loved the one book I read by her. I did buy several of hers because I figure I'm really gonna love all her books. But I look forward to reading another Lisa Jewell.
And then the next book we're reading for a vlog is Don't Let Him In by Mrs. Lisa Jewell herself. So excited. Another author that we both really like and we're excited to get into. This cover is not quite as beautiful as the Alex Finley cover, but it's very mysterious. Like I could look at that cover and I would think that's either a mystery or a horror book, and I'm not mad at either of those. So I am really looking forward to getting into this one too and vlogging all of our reactions and thoughts on these 2 books.
One I've been wanting to read for a while now, and it was part of a vlog where we read the first chapter to decide which of like 4 or 5 books we were going to read for, I think it was a secret TBR. And one of the books that I had as part of that is The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I've been wanting to read another book by her because I read one last year and I really enjoyed it. So this one was taking place in another country. They go to this villa and they end up finding in the villa that they are renting, and it's 2 best friends, and I believe they have their spouses with them. But they end up finding that a murder may have taken place there, and they start to research and find some really crazy things. So I am looking forward to this one as well. I have a lot on my plate this month that I have a lot of energy for, and I really want to read so many books right now. It's driving me nuts, but this is another one.
The next book that I have on my slate for February is a book I started to read in a vlog that we did. We had a secret reading vlog where we did try a chapter, and we read the first chapter of 5 different books and selected a book to read based on the first chapters. And I did not select this book, but I really liked the first chapter. So I'm putting The Library of the Unwritten on my February TBR. If I have time, I might also get to The Archives of the Forgotten. These are Christmas presents Jen got me from Christmas of 2023. So over a year ago, I've had these books. I read the first little bit of this book. I really enjoyed it, and I want to get into it and read these for February.
And speaking of having a lot of books that I want to read, I saw on Edelweiss there is another book by the author of theme music that I had done for a vlog a while ago. I'm forgetting exactly what vlog that was for, but she has a new one out. It comes out later this year, but I have the Edelweiss copy, so I may shoehorn that one in as well. I'm gonna put it on the screen because I don't obviously have the cover in front of me, and I don't want to go dig out my tablet to show you, but this one sounded very crazy, and I know theme music had elements of supernatural and murder, and so I feel like this one is going to be very similar. It's about a woman whose sister ends up being in a coma, and she doesn't really know what happened, and there are clues as to what could have happened. And her sister was writing a book and didn't finish it. She finds the book that she was writing and she starts to read it, and it's really weird because it's almost saying the exact story of what was happening about someone succumbing to a coma, and a sister comes to by her side and finds an unfinished manuscript. So she starts to try to finish it because she feels drawn to this story, and then a lot of strange things start to happen. It sounds like a very weird, almost like Catriona Ward type book, and I discovered this author when I read theme music. I never heard of her. I'd gone to a library, and I think it was one where we chose it by the cover. I was just mesmerized by the story, and I believe I gave it a 5 stars. And I talked about this book at work, and a bunch of other people started reading it, and then they start raving about it, and they love it. So I was talking with those same coworkers about the Edelweiss, so they're trying to get it as well. I can't wait to read that one too. I'm very much going to try and shoehorn that in.
Speaking of duologies, the next book is another book that I've been wanting to read for so long, and that's Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I did read Ninth House in a vlog in 2023, so again, it's a book that I read a long time ago. I need to get into this book. I just absolutely love Leigh Bardugo's writing. I love the dark atmospheric writing that she does, and her stories that she tells, and I'm kind of missing her. I need to get back into some of her worlds. I do also have the Shadow and Bone trilogy and Six of Crows duology that I need to read. And I have read Six of Crows, but I want to go back and read the Shadow and Bone trilogy and then the Six of Crows duology. But first, I want to finish the Ninth House duology, and I need to read this book. I am missing Leigh Bardugo and need to get back into her worlds.
Also, so for the secret vlog for this month, I have several choices here. And Amanda had the idea, I think because Valentine's Day is in this month, that we would ask, or she would ask her husband, I would ask my boyfriend, to choose the book for us to read. And originally, I think she wanted us to have them in the video. My boyfriend not only is not a big fan of wanting to be in the video and be on camera and on YouTube, but he's also fighting a respiratory infection. So I wasn't even going to push the issue. I gave him 5 books and I had an envelope for each one. I told him that his job was to choose one for me to read, and he can choose it however he wanted. I didn't give him any parameters other than take a look at each of these. If there's a cover that grabs you, or if you read about it and you see something that you're like, oh, that's interesting, that's how you choose it. Then the envelope for the book that you choose, put in the pouch. So there is an envelope in here from the book that he chose. I'm going to show you the 5 that I gave him. And they are ones from our physical TBR because, of course, we want to read down our physical TBRs. So this one I've been wanting to read for a while, and I thought February would be a good month for this one. It just sounded cute, romancy. It's called A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I read The 7-Year Slip by her, and I really liked it. And I had a feeling this might be a good one, but I don't know if he's going to go for that one. Geneva Rose, I've been reading several by Geneva Rose. I just read The Perfect Marriage because I'm going to be reading The Perfect Divorce for an ARC review. If not February, then March. And I haven't read this one yet. It looked really interesting. So a thriller was in the mix as well. Another Lisa Jewell, because I've been wanting to read this one. It would be funny if he ended up picking this one, The Night She Disappeared. Layla by Colleen Hoover. I have been wanting to read more past Verity, and I've been putting it off, and this has been on my physical TBR for a very long time. And someone mentioned that this one was very similar to Verity, so I thought maybe I like that one, so that one's on here. And lastly, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I haven't read Stacey Willingham or this one, obviously, and I have been wanting to read it. So I asked him after he chose it, I said, okay, so without giving away, why did you choose the book that you did? And he said 3 things. He said it was because of the setting, it was because of the premise, and he just thought it sounded like a good story. So if I had to guess on what he had to say about it, I think he either went with Flicker in the Dark. I'm pretty sure this is probably what he chose. Or he might have done this one, because this one does seem like a very interesting premise, but I don't know if it fits setting. I don't know, but those are my 2 guesses. I'm not going to reveal it until that vlog, so if you want to see what each of our significant others have chosen for us for this vlog, check it out. It'll be sometime in February.
So I know you all are just dying to know and wondering what we're doing for our February secret TBR pick. And since it is February, the month of Valentine's Day, Jen and I decided we would let our partners, which is my husband and her boyfriend, pick the books for us for February. But we're not really just gonna let them go buck wild and say pick any book on our shelves. If you really want to see a vlog of that, then comment below and let us know. But little worried about that one. So we are picking 5 books for them to choose from, and I'm very quickly just going to go through my 5 books. I'm not going to give a synopsis of all of them, but I'm going to tell you why I'm putting them on the options list for my husband to choose from. And the first one is Look in the Mirror by Catherine Steadman. This is a thriller book. I have a lot of fantasy books in this pile here, and I wanted to put a thriller. I did borrow this one from the library, and I need to get it read so I can get it returned, so I'm throwing this one in the pile for him to choose from. The next book is the second book of the Throne of Glass series. I have read Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass. I need to finish this series. Sarah J. Maas is an author that I'm also missing and kind of want to get into reading again. So I think continuing on with the series would be a good place to start, and I am putting this as an option for my husband to choose from. The next book is a grimdark fantasy that I've heard really good things about. I might have mentioned it before on the channel, but I haven't read it yet. And that is A Priest of Bones by Peter McLean. And I have heard such good things about this. I've borrowed this book from the library a couple of times and then had to return it because my time allotted to borrow the book ran out and I had to return it. And then I found it at Half Price Books and decided I would just buy it so I could hold it and then read it whenever I'm ready. But I think I'm ready, and I am going to see if this is something he might pick. So this next book is a young adult book, but it is an author that I absolutely have read before and loved, and that is Darkly by Marisha Pessl. This is a recently released book. It released at the end of last year, I think November of last year. Oh my gosh, look, I just noticed this. There's a signature in the front of it. How cool is that? I did not even know this was a signed book. And I can't remember where I bought this book, but I know I saw it and bought it because I wanted it. I might have even pre-ordered it, I'm not sure. November 26th. See, I thought it was November. This book came out in November of 2024, and it is young adult. I think I already said that, but I am looking for, just to mix something up just a little bit. It's always fun to go back and read a few young adult books every now and then. So I'm putting this one in the pile. And the last book I'm putting in the pile for my husband to choose from is a fantasy, and it is The Wren and the Holly Library by Kay Lindy. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's my favorite Disney movie, my favorite Disney princess, my favorite Disney, I don't know what you would call it, fairy tale. But the second book in the series is going to be coming out soon. I don't know exactly when, but I know it's coming out this year. So I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling the heat. I'm feeling the need to read this book before the second book in the series comes out. So this is also going in the pile. And we will see what he chooses and why he chose it in our February secret TBR pick vlog.
I am going to be getting a surgery done in February. I don't know how much downtime I'm going to have from that or how much I am going to feel like reading depending on the pain factor. Hopefully that doesn't take away too much from what I plan on reading. I will be off of work for a few weeks, and if I'm not in too much pain and I'm bored, hopefully that means I will be reading some. If you don't see anything from us for a while, that probably means that I am in a lot of pain. I will be towards the third week of February, so I have time before that to get a lot of reading done, and I'm very much looking forward to all the books on this list. There's just too many books out right now. I have so many things on my list that I want to read, and it's just can be so stressful sometimes trying to pick what I want to read next. But I need to get back to Onyx Storm and finish that so that we can finish that vlog. Amanda has been done with it, but she obviously has a lot of passion and excitement for that book, and she whipped through it. She loved it, so I'm really trying to get my head back into that story and get that done. Thanks so much for watching our February TBR. Let us know in the comments if you want to read any of these books, if you have any big book plans. What are you looking forward to on your TBR? And keep an eye out for all the vlogs we have coming. Thanks for watching, and until next time.